Well, welcome everyone to our self-reliance and food storage uh, gathering. We do this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and it's so good to have you here tonight. This is a really special class tonight, and I want to just share my screen with you. Because last week we finished off talking about our 72-hour pack and how important it was to not only have all the bits that you need to survive for 72 hours, that's what they say the minimum before help and rescue can come for you. You need to have your own food and clothing and things to keep you warm and all those good things for your personal survival. But what would it be like to be in that situation? A lot of people would feel panicked, concerned, anxious, nervous. A lot of emotions come up. And when we're dealing with emergency situations, we need to have that calmness that a doctor has. Do you know when a doctor walks into a room and he's just so calm, and people can be rushing around and they're just doing what they've got to do and they know the job and they're very focused. But we also need to be strong, because you might need to have to carry things. You had not just taking yourself, but maybe, you have a little family. Maybe you have to pick up a child. Maybe you have to carry them. Maybe you have to move things out of the way. So having some good physical strength is important. And then to be able to have the spiritual mind of a monk. How good would that be? Where you can feel completely at one with the universe, with God, with yourself, and to have that inner peace no matter what happens. Yeah. What about the endurance of an athlete? So an athlete is someone who can have a lot of stamina, go for a long time, and to be able to run without being weary. So being in an emergency situation is going to encapsulate a lot of our resources from our own body, mind, and strength. And so I wanted to go through with you some of these tonight, and really help you to get on a path of exactly what to do moment by moment each day in preparing for an eventual emergency. Sorry, I'm just plugging in a microphone, and that way the recording picks me up a bit better. Okay, so the resilience is going to be all about that, not just about having your physical needs prepared for, but all those things. So, okay. So having a think about all these areas, what area would you like to develop in? Is it the emotional response? Is it, do you have a little bit of anxiety? Do you fret about things when they come up? Do you allow your emotions to boil over, or do you hold them in tight and nobody knows how you're actually feeling? Is it your physical strength? Do you have a good endurance? Are you able to go with a pack on your back? Have you ever tried that before? Do you get sick? Do you have a strong immune system, or do you have a lot of body aches and pains? We're going to cover some of these things. What about your spirituality? Do you have faith? Do you know a relationship with God? Is that important to you? Are you connected to source energy? Where do you find your strength? I know a lot of people find their strength through their beliefs.
And sometimes if your beliefs are not in a higher source, maybe you're relying on yourself a lot. What about your resourcefulness? And so I put these two categories of physical being your own physicality, your body, and then the physical area of your resourcefulness. So having the resources around you of people, things that you need to go to, and I also like to call this your creative area. So when we have a look at all these areas, just to, if you gave yourself a rating out of 10, where would you fall on each of those areas? And maybe if your spirituality is an 8 out of 10, maybe you need to work on, or I know for myself, my physical strength, that might be an area where I could improve on. So have a think for yourself, what area would be important for you. And then I'm going to give you something that you can do on a daily basis to strengthen each of these areas. And I call it the jigsaw. So the jigsaw is 6 things that when you put them all together, life will make sense. And so you can start using the jigsaw from tonight. And if you take up one of these things, great. If you take up all 6, amazing. And we're going to be kind on ourselves. We're not going to think they're going to be good at all 6 or even 1 all at once. But as we work on each area, then it's going to strengthen the other areas. So let's have a look. J, what is J for? Well, J is for journaling. I feel journaling is really important aspect of allowing you to clear out your mind. Writing down your troubles, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your desires, and even if it's just a couple of lines that you journal each day. Some people think about journal like, well, I have to record everything that happened and people that I came across, and that's a record of my life. But I'm not suggesting that needs to be the way you need to approach it. Maybe you just want to approach your journal with, I just need to get out these thoughts and do a brain dump. And it could be a brain dump of all the things that you need to do in a day. And that could be a way that you can free your mind up just by releasing some tension that's going up there, but just by jotting everything down. So doing a daily brain dump, either at the end of the day, for the next day. These are the things that I want to accomplish. These are the things that I'm just dealing with at the moment, and I'm frustrated with, and this is what I hope to have happen. And I'm going to actually, in another section, come back to this point and talk about it one again. So the next letter is I. What does I stand for? Okay. I is for inspiration. We have so much information coming at us each day that we are completely bombarded. And this I for inspiration is to allow thoughts to and learning to come to you, so that you can really have intention. It could be I for intention, but for an intention for what you want to learn. So they say that if you read 10 minutes every day, over a year, think about what those little increments of 10 minutes each day can do for you over a year's time. So you could probably get through about 12 books if you did 10 minutes each day. You might not want to read, you might want to listen to podcasts or YouTube something of inspiration or listen to audio books. I don't watch TV anymore because I'm always listening to somebody in a audio book or even scriptures, something that's really filling my mind with really good content, so that I'm not having much downtime where I'm overthinking or concerned about anything that's happening. So sometimes, the idleness is a devil's playground. Well, I always seek for inspiration. What is G for? G is for gratitude. Gratitude is the highest of the attributes. When you think about gratitude, all the other attributes come from gratitude. And gratitude, giving gratitude daily is one of the things that can really move you out of the current state that you're in into a higher vibrational state. Now, I like to talk about emotions a lot, and you'll be able to tell from your emotions about, you really want to tap into those. So I just want to get my emotions chart here. There's a scale of emotions that when you're in a higher vibe of emotions, good things come to you. You attract good things into your life. When you're in a lower state of emotions, then you actually repel. When you seem to be a bit prickly, you can walk into a room and feel when the vibration's low because it feels prickly. It's the sixth sense that we have and we can tell people's emotions, even if they haven't said anything, that how they're vibing. And this is a really important sense to be aware of. And just notice when you're vibing low, you can't really allow good things to happen. It kind of attracts more negativity. So what can you do to raise your vibrations? Look around you and say out loud what you're grateful for. Even if it's the sunshine, the warmth on your back, or a nice warm shower, or being able to wake up and have breakfast in your comfy pajamas. Like, the more that we are able to appreciate the little things, the more better things and bigger things will be attracted to us. Now, this one links back to me in the journaling. So before lockdown, my kids, we would drive to school and we would say one thing that we're grateful for. And so each child would go around and we would have a turn at saying what we're grateful for, and then we'd go around again and maybe even a third time and say what we're grateful for. And this was a really great way to set up their day. But since we've been in lockdown, what we've done is we've kept a gratitude journal. Now, first of all, it started like a jar. And so we would write the thing that we're grateful for and we'd put it in the jar. And then the idea was pull it out of the jar at the end of the week, or some people even kept it for a year. And then it'd be really fun to see all the things that we had written. But now we have a gratitude book. And so once a day, at the end of the day, the kids write one thing that they're grateful for and one thing that they're working on. And so we go back and we have a look at the thing, and sometimes the thing that they were working on the next week, they actually accomplished it. And so that was really fabulous to look back and see how far you've come, even in a week or a month or even longer. So maybe you could share a gratitude post on your social media. Maybe you could share it with someone else in the house, what you're grateful for, and do that together. And then watch the good things that come to you. And so if you're feeling down, if you're feeling in discouragement, blame, worry, doubt, disappointment, frustration, pessimism, boredom, they're the lower end of the scale. If you can start to work on your gratitude and move up in the scale to contentment, hopefulness, optimism, and then again in the next one up is positive expectations and belief, enthusiasm, passion, and then joy at the very top, along with appreciation, empowerment, freedom, and love, then that's the highest vibration. And you can even play good music that will also help to bring in those positive vibrations. They're over 500 hertz. If you want to Google those, YouTube them, you can find good positive vibrational sounds that will help you. Okay, that was a long one. Let's move on to S. S is for silence. This goes back to what we were saying before about all the noise that's happening. Maybe there's a lot going on social media, there's a lot on TV, and if you don't have silence at some point in the day, you can end up feeling very overwhelmed. So another word for silence could be meditation, could be prayer, and just being still. And some people think, oh, I'm not very good at meditation, but it's not that you have to be somewhere or get somewhere, or some people say, don't think anything. Well, at first it's quite impossible to not think anything. So really what we're doing is we're breathing. And I want everyone to do that with me. Take a deep breath in and breathing out. Now, when you breathe in this time, I want you to breathe in through your belly, deep down. Ready? So breathing in. And let that go. Breathe out. And when you do that, you can feel, when you do the breath work, I know Karina's very good at her breath work, is that just concentrating on your breathing will help you to be still and then observe. Just observe the thoughts that come. There's a thought, let it go. Breathing in, and verily another thought will come by. You go, okay, I've been in that thought for a little while. I didn't notice that one, and there it is. And then let that go. And so try to have some stillness throughout the day. And partly your silence can be part of your prayer, it can be part of your gratitudes, or it can be separate. But it's very, very powerful. I know that if I haven't had my silence in the day, then sometimes the day can really get away and go a bit pear-shaped sometimes. So
with the breathing, I think it's a pretty vital skill, because we wind ourselves up over the day, and it's actually to be able to have those tangible strategies that you can bring yourself back down, and very deliberately bring yourself back down, is really important. And so something I learned through a breathwork course that I did was that we tend to breathe shallow when we're stressed, or even when we're excited, or when there's any kind of positive or negative tension. We can hold our breath, but the thing that we experience the most is actually the inhalation. And when you think about it, so it's inhalation, and we're focusing on the inhale, or the up breath. And when you think about it, when you're in fight flight mode, it's like that kind of, and so you might not be in that extreme, but you are breathing very shallowly, and it's all about the up breath. What happens when you're in fight flight mode is that it switches off your organs and your gut, and it causes gut issues, and if you're constantly in that crisis state, Even if you don't realize you are, like if you're in an anxious state, if you have anxiety, you're often in that state, then it can cause like a multiple like amount of health issues in your body. And so learning how to exhale is actually vital. It's the exhalation when you're relieved. What do you do? You go and everything relaxes, and your lungs relax, and your diaphragm relaxes. You can try to breathe out, like breathe in and then breathe out, and focus on your breathing out, but you can still all be tense in your lungs and in your diaphragm. But it's the relaxation of your diaphragm and the relaxation of your lungs as you exhale that puts you back into what's called rest and digest mode, which is the opposite of fight flight, which turns off your organs. So it's rest and digest. It switches everything back on. So if you can learn those skills, even just a few moments each day, and I do some deliberate breathing every day. I'm a bit out of habit of meditation just over the last few weeks, and just trying to bring it back in. But yeah, so there's it's important. And when you're in crisis mode, or when you're pushed very fast every day and you have to rush, I prefer the word hasten, then you can be in that state and not even realize it. And it drains your energy. And so it's important to be able to recognize where you're at, and then recognize how you're breathing, because we think that breathing is normal, but we forget how to breathe. We've forgotten how to breathe. It is actually a technique to be able to breathe well. I know how to breathe. Even that's my son. Even in your everyday, just learning how to breathe well is a new skill. We think we know, but we actually have forgotten.
Yeah, beautifully said. Thanks, Karina. Absolutely. And it's the thing that we need most. Yeah.
Breathing is life, and we need both oxygen and we need carbon dioxide. We actually need to breathe out, even slowly, just to let ourselves rest, and we need a level of carbon dioxide in our body as well. So I know there's a great book called Breath by J.I.G.S.A.W. Very, very good. It's given me some, it's actually following one of the things the many things that he taught, resolved a health issue that I've had for many, many years. And I never ever thought I'd be able to fix this issue. Breathing, learning how to breathe can heal multiple, like so many health issues. Like there's breathing is, it's important, it's vital.
I'm following a guy on Telegram at the moment. At 6 o'clock every evening, he does breath work. And so you can tune into his live breath work and do it with him if you want accountability. Cool. So
did he teach about breath work on the group?
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I'm not qualified to teach it, but I can definitely put you in touch.
It's called Raquel. I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry, but it's called Breath. It's actually called Breath. It's by J.I.G.S.A.W.
I'll type that in the chat. Beautiful. So, okay, and that one runs into this one. Observe your thoughts. So A is for affirmation. Creating affirmations the way that I have been taught to do it is a little bit different to how a lot of people are taught to do affirmations. And I do believe that you, first of all, need to take notice of your self-talk. And most people think of affirmations as replacing the negative self-talk with positive self-talk. And that is definitely part of it. But the way that I was taught to do affirmations is to do them in the form of a commitment. So starting using the words I am committed, and then putting that together along with your action steps is a better way, well, better, up to you how you want to use your affirmations, but is the way that I was taught to actually affirm the things that you want to, that you already committed to and you already want to have happen in your life. The other way that sometimes affirmations can, otherwise that can happen is people can say things to themselves like, I am losing weight every day. My body is so skinny and healthy. And then their mind goes, yeah, no, not really. And so you can actually do that. It'll be a reverse affirmation because you feel like you're telling yourself a lie. So in this way, when you use it in terms of a commitment, then it's not a lie that you're telling yourself, because you are reaffirming something that you are wanting to achieve. So ground them in your intention. I am committed to being healthy and eating well is much different to I'm a healthy eater, and then you go have a Mars bar. Yeah. So put these, you can, it's really, at first, when you're creating your affirmations, it's super important to write them down. It's not something that you can just say once and remember. I find I always put them on my mirror, somewhere where I'm looking daily, somewhere I can reflect on them daily. You might have sticky notes. You might post them on social media. Anyone who follows me in my social media group, I put up daily affirmations every day, something positive. They are a good positive self-talk kind of an affirmation, because what the other people are committed to, it could be different to what I'm committed to. So I don't do it in that way for other people. But affirmations can be one of the most important aspects of a daily routine, because our brain does not know the difference between fiction and reality. And the more that you keep telling yourself something, the more that you'll believe it. So I'm trying to help my daughter realize that when she says I can't, she's actually affirming that to herself. Or I can't fall asleep, or I'm not tired and I can't go to sleep. Be careful what you tell yourself. That's not the affirmation that you want to affirm. So we keep redirecting the language that we're using on ourselves so that it's actual forward moving language.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. So the language that we use is so important. It changes how we feel. So as well as saying it to ourselves, just being generally speaking affirming words generally to others about our life, so that it's a habit. And one of the things that you can do when you're feeling flat is just turning that language around. So with gratitude and with just affirming in general, along with that, visioning or visualization, or even future visioning, so that not only are you saying it, but you're seeing it as well and using more senses.
Yes. Yeah. So I wrote here poster, because I actually like to encapsulate my affirmations in a vision poster, and the things that you want to come to fruition, then put them in a visual form. Our brain actually thinks in pictures. So if you can find pictures to match the things that you are wanting to bring into your life, then put those pictures around you, see those things happening, and then work towards them. Even if it's like your perfect day, well, my perfect day would be able to rise early, and I would be having breakfast early, and then I would go for a walk, and then I would do my exercises, and then I would do my gratitudes. And you're envisioning your perfect day. Put that up so that you can see it in pictures, and that will help you to draw those things towards you.
Going to bed, thinking about how you want to wake up as well is really good. As well as waking up and then thinking of and visualizing and picturing your day. And I think going to bed with the intention of how you're going to wake up is also very powerful.
It's one of the most powerful things that you can do. The last things that you think about before you go to bed, and doing a, you know, we teach our kids, you know, say your prayers at night. Why do we do that? Because they're actually going to bed with positivity. They're actually, you know, being grateful for what they've experienced that day, or blessings that have happened. And so you're reaffirming. Absolutely. So, yeah, the last thing that you do before you go to sleep and the first thing that you do in the morning will set the tone for the rest of your day. And if you have one good day, it can turn into a good week, and a good week can turn into a good month, and a good month can turn into a good year.
And a bad day or a difficult day doesn't mean anything.
100%.
The next day is a new day. The next hour is a new hour.
100%. Okay. So let's go to the last one, and this is W. W for me is for water. Now, water is the staff of life. We, just like breathing, just like the oxygen that we need, we also can't go for very long without water. And so the first thing that, after you do, a lot of people when they first wake up, I know my first thing is go to the bathroom, but then some people wake up and they roll on their knees and they give thanks as the first thing they do. Well, the next thing after that for me is drink water. And your body needs to hydrate. When you are able to clear out those toxins that have been conjuring around during your sleep, clear them out with clear liquid. Now, it could be a herbal tea first thing. It could be lemon in your water, but having a clear liquid before you even have your breakfast. I for breakfast I have a shake, but I always start with a water or a herbal tea or something like that. And hydrating your body means that you're going to give it more energy right away. You're going to set up your brain to be able to think well. It's going to send much, you know, that clearer thinking. So when our body's full of toxins and when it's stagnant, then we're going to be harboring microbiome in our gut that's just, it can be a little stale. Drinking water, keeping that hydration up all throughout the day, and then drinking earlier in the day rather than later is going to allow you to have better sleep. So drinking before you go to bed, you might be waking up, your body doesn't get to go down to its good rest state. So we want you to rest when it's time to rest. We want you to have lots of energy when it's time to go. And so being able to wake up in the morning, drink water, and then have something to eat within 2 hours of waking up, that's really good for your metabolism. And then stay hydrated throughout the day. Because we do want to look after our physical body. So we've talked about all those areas, our physical body, our spirituality, our emotional resilience. And then, you know, all those lead into being able to connect better with others, because we're in a higher state of being able to feel good, think great, we're happy about life, we want to reach out. Oftentimes when we're feeling down and depressed, we go more insular. We don't want to talk to others. We feel like, you know, no one wants to talk to us. And that can be further from the truth, right? So being able to get your body into a really good state opens you up for connection. And that's what we really need at this time in our life is good connections with others. So when we put our jigsaw pieces together, everything makes sense. And I invite you all to really go back over these 6 areas, find where you can implement them in your day or your night, wherever it works for you, around your family, and maybe just maybe if you've taken notes and you've got all 6 down, decide one that you really want to go to work on, and make it one that you can succeed in, and then incorporate the next one and the next one. I make sure that I write these down in my bathroom because it took me a lot of years to actually get this into a pattern, and it's very easy to get yourself out of a pattern. So I even set myself up for doing it not for 7 days a week but for 4. If I could do this, a pattern like this, for 4 days a week, then that was a really good start for me. So start small and work up to it so that you can bring all those jigsaw puzzles together for yourself. And then when we do run into emergency situations, and or somebody, it might not be our emergency, it might be somebody else's, someone else is in trouble, or we hear of it far away in another country, and how does it affect us? So being able to go back to being still, having that gratitude, remembering to breathe and to look after yourself and to hydrate so that you're in a better state, and to be prepared for anything. So I want to leave you with these words of wisdom, and hope that it's been a benefit for you. And thank you so much for joining me tonight.